Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, President Zuma was received by the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and also the Federal Capital Territory Minister, among other dignitaries. The visit is, among other things, to strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. Nigeria and South Africa in 2014 signed 9 bilateral agreements to promote economic cooperation. President Zuma's visit is expected to last for 3 days, and he has just addressed a joint session of the National Assembly. Still on National Assembly matters, majority of the participants at a one-day public hearing on frivolous petitions bill 2015 organized by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters have called for the outright discard of the bill. The view is that the passage of the bill will undermine the anti-corruption fight of the present administration. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The hearing was necessary to put issues raised by the public on the matter in perspective, as the bill has passed second reading at the Senate. Senate President, represented by the Senate Minority Leader, Godswill Akpabio, reassured commitment of the National Assembly in making human-oriented laws that will deepen Nigeria's democracy.
Laws are made for the people, and for any law to stand the test of time, the process leading to its passage must be all-inclusive.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, represented by Supreme Court Justice Clara Ogumbi, and other participants from civil society organizations and social media experts stated thus.
The fact that the bill wishes to curb excesses, it is not a reason to mean that it should serve the purpose of denial of access to information, nor is it meant to do away with checks on the executive, legislature, and the judiciary.
It is necessary in a democracy that the legislature refrains from enacting any legislation that has a tendency or that may be perceived as capable of unduly abridging the fundamental rights of the citizens to privacy and free speech.
Whistleblowers have the benefit of anonymity. Asking me to put my home address on a petition is opening me up to be killed.
If you kill this opportunity for people to learn, then we will even have a more illiterate society.
Committee Chairman, Senator David Umaru, and other members assured that the contributions will adequately be considered.
The committee is mindful of the divergent views and commentaries expressed on this bill in the social media and other traditional media.
Consider that we are going to be responsible, we are going to report fairly, accurately what we have found, and we would like to assure you that we are very friendly with the press, we are very friendly with the social media.
However, the committee is expected to make adequate recommendations to the Senate at plenary for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And from the National Assembly, we move to security matters, where Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has appealed to the Voice of America to be more objective in their coverage of the war on insurgency in the northeastern part of the country. The minister's appeal came on the heels of media reports of unfavorable media practice by the Voice of America in the fight against Boko Haram, and Tony Forsen reports.
America delegation from Africa Divisional Office had come visiting the minister, who used the opportunity to appeal to the organization to strive and correct the perception.
I must say that in recent times, there have been a lot of complaints about the Voice of America from the same part, and I think largely it's from the perception. People have not been too glad or too happy about the way the insurgency has been reported in recent times. I don't know whether if you look at the back page of the trust.
The minister was quick to note that despite the observation from a broad section of the people, the Voice of America still remains the favorable radio station for listeners in the northern part of the country.
Overall, I want to believe that Voice of America still remains the favorite, channel for many of our brothers and sisters, especially out there in the north.
The minister equally applauded the Voice of America for expanding their reach through the social media. Responding, the director of the VOA, Nigerian Mengesha, said insinuations in the media that Voice of America reports are slanted towards Boko Haram is not a true reflection of the organization's editorial policy, as the organization, he said, is doing a lot to expose Boko Haram and the atrocities. Nigerian Mengesha expressed the readiness of Voice of America to correct the perception, as journalism, he said, can be subjective at times. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And earlier on, we told you that the South African President Jacob Zuma says the bilateral economic relations between South Africa and Nigeria will enhance socio-economic benefits of citizens and Africa generally. He made this known while addressing a joint session of the National Assembly. President Zuma, who was led by President Muhammadu Buhari to the chamber, has expressed optimism that the parliament of both countries will grow its operations in order to make laws that will protect the interests and the well-being of the people.
Your Excellencies, South Africa and Nigeria are strategic partners in the pursuance of the African agenda, South Africa cooperation, and in the promotion of rules-based international system. Both countries share a common vision on issues of political and economic integration in Africa and on the need for a sustainable conflict resolution mechanism in Africa that is primarily driven by Africans. At the global sphere, we share a common vision on the need for the reform of the multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, particularly the UN Security Council. We share the views about the reform of the international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Trade Organization, and the World Bank, to be more reflective of the realities of the changed and changing international environment.
President Jacob Zuma addressing the joint session of the National Assembly. And Lagos is our first port of call. Let's join Abdullahi for more reports on Nationwide, and it's good to see you, Abdullahi.
Good to see you too, Fabian. Thanks for joining us here in Lagos. Laborers working on site of an uncompleted 5-story building in Lekki Phase 1, Lagos, have lost their lives following the collapse of the structure in the early hours of this morning. Rotimi Oluwagbemi has details.
The 5-story building is located at Chisco Bus Stop, Lekki Phase 1. Witnesses say the tragic incident occurred at about 4:30 a.m. during the downpour.
Some people told that the Lekki Garden has collapsed, so, and we know maybe we are suspecting the breeze, the wave last night. The rain that fell last night, the breeze, the wave is maybe too heavy.
Rain want to fall, but the breeze just heavy breeze. That's why the place just fall.
Workers of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, were on ground to carry out rescue efforts. The agency's general manager, Michael Akindele, described the incident as unfortunate, adding that the state government will investigate the cause of the collapse with a view to taking appropriate actions.
For any building, you're supposed to have your material test laboratory results. So these are the things that we look at. If this building in question has passed through unnecessary procedure and all other adjoining buildings here and all ongoing buildings in Lagos, enough is enough. Taxpayers' money are not meant to be spent on what will not have cause to reduce upon.
As at the time of this report, about 8 persons had been rescued, while 7 others were confirmed dead. In Lagos, Rotimolu Agbemi, NTA News.
The parents of the kidnapped girls from Babington Macaulay Junior Seminary, Ikorodu, Lagos, who were rescued by the police in the early hours of Sunday, have visited the governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode. The parents were led to the government house Alausa Ikeja by the Anglican Archbishop of Lagos Mainland, Adebayo Akinde, and other bishops, as well as the principal of the school, Nosa Osula, reports.
The Anglican Archbishop of Lagos Mainland Diocese, Most Reverend Adebayo Akinde, said the team deemed it fit to come and appreciate the role played by the state government in the wake of the abduction of the students from the school on February 29th.
You have shown yourself to be a passionate leader that is interested in the comfort, in the well-being of the citizens of the state.
The principal of the school, Venerable Olaoluwa Adeyemi, stated that they were grateful for the support, encouragement and prayers they received from several quarters while the ordeal lasted.
For the events that took place in the past few days, and that God in His infinite mercy helped us, and the security people really did their work well.
Security is a matter for everybody, both government and every citizen of Lagos State, and we should be our brothers' keepers.
In his response, the state governor, Akinwumi Ambode, said the incident was a test of the government's commitment to the security of lives and property in the state.
We took it personally, not because it was a private school, not because it was far away from the metropolis, but because we all decided to say that if it were our own child or children, are we going to sit down?
The governor assured Lagos residents that his administration would spread its security searchlight to every nook and cranny of the state. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
On to health matters now. Increase in child and adolescent mental health condition has become a source of worry to health professionals in Nigeria. Promoting a training workshop for psychiatric caregivers on latest treatments and care. Participants are also to develop a process of early detection of the condition to help parents identify early symptoms. Lily Leneke was at a workshop in Lagos and now reports.
An estimated 15 million young people are said to be diagnosed with mental health disorder. Many more are at risk of developing a disorder due to risk factors in their genetics, within their families, schools, and communities.
Child and adolescent psychiatry, being a subspecialty of psychiatry, is an evolving one in this country. Okay, we've had other subspecialties for a long time, but the child and adolescents has not really been given the due attention.
This is why Psychiatric Hospital, in conjunction with the Child Adolescent Mental Health Service Center, organized this training workshop. Mental health professionals are to examine the best available care based on scientific evidence, good clinical expertise, and take cognizance of the unique characteristics of the child or adolescent.
Those children will grow up with fear, with anxiety, with post-traumatic stress disorder, and they will just be left on their own. So we need to really pay attention in the area of child and adolescent psychiatry.
The workshop provided a platform for health practitioners, especially neuropsychiatrists, the opportunity to re-strategize and come up with suitable and available management and treatment of the condition. Participants are advocating a well-financed health preventive and response system that will foster communication and cooperation. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Following the grant of a national license to Niger Lottery by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, Niger Lottery office has been inaugurated in Lagos. It was declared open by the Majority Leader House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. The management of Niger Lottery said it is committed to implementing the highest international standard of responsible gaming, protecting the minors and discouraging addictive playing. Vera Chumba has details.
Niger Lottery Office is a modern two-floor customized building located at number 20 Ikorodu Road, Jibowu, Lagos. Niger Lottery is the trade name of International Lottery and Gaming. It is designed to offer fun and excitement to all Nigerian players. Niger Lottery is deploying the best-in-class lottery technology and related services with Intraloct and TechnoOcean as the lottery technology and services providers.
Presenting to the government money, to the people, employment.
Director General, Nigerian Lottery Regulatory Commission says Niger Lottery met all requirements.
What is required is, one, for it to be played in a transparent way so that those who win actually receive their prizes.
The lottery is a viable means of making money. It's also a way of creating not just wealth, employment.
The chairman of Niger Lottery said the organization is deploying the best technology for lottery.
The technology, the software is like no other in the world.
Niger Lottery will be offering a national lottery ticket with attractive prizes. The ticket will be sold throughout the states of the Federation. It has branches in Kano, Jigawa, Sokoto, Edo, Oyo, Plateau, and Ogun states. Meanwhile, arrangements to extend its operations to other states of the Federation are underway. In Lagos, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
And Vera's reports end nationwide. From Lagos, back to Femi, who has more reports in Abuja. Femi.
Thank you, Abdullahi. Issues bordering on girl-child education and the particular health needs of women are top on the agenda as Nigerian women mark the International Women's Day. The day is marked on March 8 every year and is a call for action to address challenges facing women. Today's episode on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria highlighted the need to consolidate on achievements so far recorded in achieving gender equity in Nigeria. Gufan Shaji reports.
Without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. However, the Director General in Youth ECOWAS, Dr. Cynthia Ube, says there is a lot of misconception regarding gender issues, emphasizing that gender parity should be viewed from the perspective of economic growth and how it increases the capacity of human capital.
If you improve men, women, boys and girls access to protecting their rights, to giving them opportunities for education, then it will contribute to economic growth and reduce poverty.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Senator Aisha Al-Hassan, responding to how government intends to realize gender parity, stated that this administration has put women and girls issues at the top of its development agenda.
There are gender aspects in those ministries budgeted for that will, especially agriculture, where rural women will have better seeds and will have more funds.
The guest also stressed the need for girl-child education, health issues peculiar to women, and the need for more advocacy on gender equity.
We have to start from the cradle virtually,
to ensure that our girls go to school and stay in school.
Addressing the issues relating to health and what puts women at risk.
The 2016 International Women's Day is being marked with the theme Pledge for Parity. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
On education, a national education survey that provides accurate data on how to achieve increased school enrollment, attendance, learning, and also attain education for all goals has been launched in Abuja. The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu in a message says data collection is key to educational advancement and national development. Edino Justice has more.
That marks the formal presentation of the 2015 Nigeria Education Data Survey. Next, a research work conducted by the National Population Commission with active support from the Federal Ministry of Education, USAID, Universal Basic Education Commission, and National Bureau of Statistics. Dr. Suleiman Diko, who represented the Minister of Education, commended the work, saying it will assist in programming access to quality education.
That they should recognize the value of data in anything that they want to do. The policymakers, you can't plan very well.
Chairman National Population Commission, who said the work was a follow-up to the 2013 National Demographic Survey, provide adequate and relevant data for national planning. He noted that some of the findings include increased primary school attendance and improved gender gap.
UBE has improved the transition from primary to secondary education.
And the United States government remains committed to being actively involved in the education sector.
Other speakers commended the work and urged stakeholders in the educational sector to ensure it leads to quality education in the country. From Yaradua Center, Abuja, Edina Justice, NTA News.
The Minister of Communication, Adebayo Shitu, says Nigeria cannot afford to be a dumping ground for foreign ICT products and services as the federal government is making efforts towards promoting ICT local content. He stated this while declaring open a one-day compliant workshop in Abuja. Ruben Okala reports.
The federal government of Nigeria, through the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDDA, already has in place a guideline to develop a strong indigenous ICT industry by addressing core areas of driving innovation, establishing intellectual property regulation, and protecting standards and developing the local ICT industry.
I have since unveiled the blueprint, and it focuses on further developing the ICT sector with special attention on local content growth. I want to assure you all that every effort will be made towards ensuring that all the local original equipment manufacturers of products and services get patronage in the country.
The Acting Director General of NIDDA, Dr. Vincent Olagunju, says compliance to the local content guidelines by MDGs is vital in achieving the mandate of economic diversification and empowerment of the ICT ecosystem.
MDGs have been required to clear their IT projects with NIDDA. This is important in order to avoid substandard equipment, duplication of projects, and to ensure that government gets the best value for investment in IT.
The workshop is in partnership with the Office for Nigeria Content Development in ICT, ONC, in Abuja. Ruben Okala, NT News.
And let's join Ogochukwuka in Benin Network Center for details of the celebration of International Women's Day and also other stories making rounds in that zone. Hello, Ogochukwuka. It's over to you.
Hello, Femi. Good afternoon. Challenges surrounding the education of the girl child, abuse and violations against children, as well as better participation of women in politics are issues that topped discussions at the celebration of the International Women's Day in Benin. Agatha Egwarojo reports.
While focusing the world's attention on areas that need action. Women, drawn from various social, cultural, political and religious groups, converged on the Magwero College Hall to take stock of their achievements and agitate for better education for the girl child, greater participation in politics, and ways to eradicate abuse against children. Wife of the governor, Mrs. Yara Oshomole, says the focus must remain on the education of the girl child for women to meet their aspirations.
As we commemorate the International Women's Day, we must once again bring to the fore the challenges surrounding the education of the girl child, which remain a vital component of the development of the society.
Governor Shomole's message to the women was also on investments in the education of the girl child.
In order to ensure that nobody has excuse not to send the child to school, we have extended free education over the past 3 years to senior secondary school level.
Guest lecturers at the event urged women to speak out on domestic violence, assault of any kind, and support each other for a better society. In Benin, Agatha Egwari Uju, NTA News.
The pupils of the Police Children's School 2 at Adesuwa Barracks, Benin, now have potable water. It is a borehole project courtesy of the wife of the Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 5, Hajia Halima Daura. The project has been inaugurated by the wife of the Inspector General of Police, Agarase Arase.
With respect to my husband, Inspector General of Police, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Borehole will give succor to the pupils of the school
who have been without potable water for years now, and especially now that the federal government is striving to promote good hygiene and sanitary conditions to avert the outbreak of diseases. Speaking after the cutting of the tape, the national president of POA said the project is the right step in the right direction. She also had these words of advice for the police officers' wives.
Don't take it for granted that you are a policeman's wife. It is not an easy task. To be a policeman's wife, it means the men and even civilians who marry police women may have seen the following qualities. 1, you are reliable. 2, you are dependable. 3, you are God-fearing. And most importantly, you are strong.
The zonal coordinator and wife of the AIG was represented by the wife of the Commissioner of Police, Bayelsa State, Olubode Ogu. The event features dance, drama presentation, and donations of notebooks to the pupils, among other presentations. It is the maiden visit of the Inspector General's wife to Zone 5 to interact and have first-hand knowledge of their problems, challenges in the areas of road, network, in the barracks and toilet facilities, among others. In Benin, Frank Okonofwa, NTA News.
Delta has unveiled a new resident card for cooperative societies, traders, farmers and artisans. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa says this will ensure that eligible taxpayers in the informal sector are captured into the state tax nets. Ifeoma Okafor reports.
It was a forum that afforded individuals and groups in the informal sector an opportunity to interact with the governor in a relaxed atmosphere. The focal point of this meeting is how to boost the capacity of the state internally generated revenue. In a language that resonates with majority of artisans, Governor Kowa delivered his message.
I'm not sure say they're going to clap for us if we pay salary only, we will not do anything. Like our road now, everything, we go to shout. Yeah, pothole down there here, they never do we road, they never do we road. Now money they will take one. Before, government not look into many things. Because money they come from oil. Like get a CP now.
He promised that government will ensure transparency and accountability in the system, as well as enhance the state's infrastructures. There were concerns from the audience, which the governor wholly addressed. The forum was concluded with positive reactions. The resident card is expected to give the owners easy access to government microcredit loans, qualify them and their words for all job creation and empowerment programs, as well as serve as automated teller machine and identity cards. Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
Traditional leaders and people of Orionwan local government areas say they are grateful to Governor Adams Oshiomhole for the construction of the Ugo-Oromere-Uronigbe Road, which was abandoned for years. The governor was on inspection of the projects and Uromere Bridge. Agatha Egwarojo has that report.
Uronigbe Road is 87 kilometers. It is the longest being constructed by the state government and designed to connect many rural communities cut off before now. The road also links these communities to Abavu, Agbo and Abraka in Delta State. The construction now makes traveling shorter for indigents of the area who before now have to go through Delta State to access their communities. Contractor handling the project said it is 89% done and the project will be completed April this year. After the inspection, Governor Oshiomhole met with the Okaiwo of Uronigbe, Chief Ike Aimuyo, and members of the community that gathered to receive him in appreciation of the road project. The governor promised to meet their demands and expressed satisfaction with the quality and pace of the project and thanked them for the support of his administration.
Governance is like a relay. I will do my best to make sure I am running at optimum speed, and I will pass on to the next guy who must continue with where we stop. That is the whole idea.
Comrade Oshiomhole was also at the palace of the Enogi of Ugonirekoriomo, Ogeriahi, Ogyugo.
You have never made any promise. You are promised Elike, I'm saying it as the past president of the state.
in the Benin Kingdom, we are fully behind.
The governor had inspected the Ugu-Urumehe bridge already completed. It is to replace the old narrow bridge. In Urodigbe, Agatha Egwari, Uju, NTA News.
Femi, that's our contribution from Benin. It's back to you now for the continuation of the news.
Thank you, Ogo. Minister of Interior has commiserated with President Muhammadu Buhari, family of late Minister of State for Labor, the nation, government, and the people of Kogi State following the death of Mr. James Ocholi, his wife and son. General Dambazao paid a condolence visit to the family alongside the Permanent Secretary, Basi Okun-Akpayun, and service chiefs in the ministry. He described the late minister as a strong agent of change in the country, a man of strong character and selflessness, describing his death as a colossal loss to Nigeria. Commitment to service and excellence exhibited by the late Ocholi and his dear wife. He prayed God to grant Mr. President, the bereaved family, the nation, and the people of Kogi State the strength to bear the great loss. About $321 million Abacha loot is to be repatriated to Nigeria by the Swiss government. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema said this after a strategic meeting with the Swiss Foreign Minister in Abuja. Gabriel Odo has the details.
Nigeria has recovered about $700 million Abacha loot so far this year, and modalities are being worked out to fast-track the repatriation of $321 million of that money stashed in Swiss banks.
We have to agree beforehand as a precondition on what the money will be used for. That the World Bank will be part of the monitoring process to ensure that the money is used for the benefit of the Nigerian people.
If we find a good solution with a good treaty between Nigeria and Switzerland on these conditions, I mean the monitoring mechanisms and the projects that have to be supported, then it can be very swift, because the decision as a principle of restituting the $321 million is already taken.
Agreements were also signed on migration issues and human rights. The Minister of Foreign Affairs also commended the Swiss government in helping to reintegrate the internally displaced persons in the Northeast. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
And to his vehicular movement within Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, administration has commenced the rehabilitation of some dilapidated roads in the nation's capital. Correspondent Mitari will report on these development and other city cleaning measures of the present administration and the FCT.
The M20 road leading to the Utako Motor Park used to be a nightmare for motorists due to its bad condition, which instigates regular traffic congestion. Motorists who ply the road are, however, beginning to heave a sigh of relief as the FCT administration has deployed men and machinery to rehabilitate the road.
In this road before, many drivers are complaining about spoiling cars, ball joints, and many things. So we are happy about this thing. We are very, very happy.
It's for our own good. It's for everybody's benefit.
Also receiving attention is the Shehu Shagari Way in Maitama, where the road shoulders meant for parking of vehicles are being rehabilitated to create more room for traffic flow.
It was there, but only that it was bad because of the erosion. The distance supposed to be 1.2 meters from the carriageway.
Meanwhile, following FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello's directive on city cleaning and management, personnel of the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, AMMC, were seen evacuating construction waste dumped indiscriminately along the Kubwa Expressway by Gwarimpa.
A city like Abuja, they don't expect people to be dumping construction waste on the major road. But unfortunately, I think there is some little lack of awareness.
The FCT minister is already spearheading a sanitation campaign to rid FCT's satellite towns of refuse dumps. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
You're still on 20 Nationwide, and we'll be back after this timeout. Do stay with us.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This week on Airtel Touching Lives, we visit Folusho Pamilerin, who was crippled in a motorcycle accident in 2012.
I'm very happy, at least I can move around now, not as when I'm stuck at home.
And we meet a woman that was beaten by her husband and then abandoned with the children.
I just told myself that I have to survive.
Our founding fathers worked to establish certain standards of governance. Some of their successors behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing disorder to the house.
The leaders at that time, as well as those of us that followed them, were patriotic. They went into politics to serve, but not to be served.
It is people doing things wrong and not being sanctioned that led to this escalation.
What is going on now? We are beginning to lift up the quality of leadership.
We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems.
You're still on 20 Nationwide, and time now to join Zainab in our Sokoto Network Center for details of happenings in that area and other parts of Sokoto State. Zainab, take it away.
Thank you, Femi, and welcome. The National Council on Health has kicked off in Sokoto with deliberations on key health policies in relation to the change agenda introduced by President Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammad Nasir, who was at the technical session of the 58th National Council on Health, now reports on its focus.
The 58th session of National Council on Health drew experts on public and private health sectors from the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, with a view to discussion on various health policies and adaptation of the issues raised. Declaring the technical session open, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Amina Muhammad Bello Shamaki, said the focus of this year's National Council on Health is to deliberate on various health issues on how best to make healthcare affordable and accessible to the common man. The Permanent Secretary said, despite the inherited dwindling economy, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is ever ready to make healthcare available to all citizens.
To make sure that every Nigerian has access to quality healthcare as near as possible to where the person resides.
Sokoto State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Shehu Balarabe Kakale, said Sokoto State Ministry of Health has a lot to present before the Council of Health, especially on community midwifery, upgrading of Normal Children's Hospital to national status, Mariam Abacha Women and Children Hospital. Other issues, he said, include maternal and neonatal health, polio-free states, as well as effort to make Sokoto Lassa and Zika-free states. The theme for the conference is universal health coverage and agenda for change. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
House of Representatives Committee on Customs Service has visited Ilela border in Sokoto State on the recent incident involving customs officers which led to the loss of life of a bus driver along Gwadabawa-Ilela Road. Dalhatu Abdullahi has more.
The visit of the 13-member committee was sequel to the motion to that effect moved by a member representing Ilela Gwadabawa Federal Constituency, Dr. Abdullahi Balarabe Salami. The committee, chaired by Rufai Ahmad Chachangi, paid condolence visits to the district heads of Gwadabawa and Ilela over the recent incidents between the men of the Nigerian customs and one victim that lost his life, Shoaibu Lawal Gwadabawa. The district heads, Lawal Zayana of Gwadabawa and the representative of Salkin Rafi Ilela, Alhaji Sahabi, told the members that about 9 people lost their lives at different incidences between customs and those plying Sokoto Ilela Road. The committee also inspected about 5 checkpoints belonging to the customs burnt by the angry mob along Gwadabawa Ilela Road.
We are still at the preliminary stage of the investigation. It's still premature for us to draw up any conclusion. We have to finish our fact-finding, then we can give you the result of our fact-finding.
The committee was accompanied on the visit by the area comptroller of customs in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states, Sani Madugu. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government is to collaborate with British Council in the area of education. This followed the declaration of state of emergency on education by the state government. Abdurrahman Osman Jibrila reports.
Receiving the delegation in his office, Governor Amin Waziri Tambol said his administration is according priority to education. He said with the declaration of state of emergency in the education sector, enrollment and retention will be ensured. The governor told the delegation that he had already sought for intervention in the area of education from British High Commissioner who was in the state recently. The executive officer of the British Council, Sir Khaira Devan, said they were in Sokoto to collaborate with the government in the area of basic education and provision of technical expertise in the interest of boosting education.
Is a stronger partnership and collaboration supporting what the institutions, the community groups and the government here in Sokoto want to do to improve education in particular. And there's much experience we have as an organisation which has been working for a very long time in 115 countries.
The executive officer said Nigerian government has been collaborating with British since 1943. In Sokoto, Abraham Osman Jibrila, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to you, Femi. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Zainab. The coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has called on state governments in Niger Delta and relevant public institutions to encourage the growth of small and medium enterprises. Let's join Namdi Dipo for details.
This event is the official flag-off of the disbursement of business starter packs to delegates trained as entrepreneurs under the Presidential Amnesty Program. In some ways, it helps consolidate the exit strategy for beneficiaries of the program as they now have the capacity to own their own businesses. The Presidential Amnesty Office has over the last 5 years deployed skills acquisition and vocational training as a vital tool in checking youth unemployment and curbing restiveness in the Niger Delta region. The office hopes that these small and medium enterprises would aid the development of the local economy, while the young entrepreneurs contribute positively to national development.
This reintegration stage has to do with sustainable wealth creation, employment of beneficiaries who have been trained and skilled in various vocations.
The distribution of the starter packs was flagged off in Warri Delta State, but is scheduled to take place in all 9 states of the Niger Delta, where delegates were trained as entrepreneurs. The starter pack given to a beneficiary depends on that person's vocation or area of entrepreneurship training.
And I believe I will render service to humanity, create job opportunities.
We thank the President for all this empowerment. We are grateful.
And a total of 3,232 beneficiaries are on the verge of successfully exiting the Presidential Amnesty Program after receiving their business starter packs. In Abuja, Nnamdi Ojiko, NTA News.
Let's join Phil now in Port Harcourt for more reports.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Police Command says it is intensifying efforts to arrest the security situation in the state ahead of the March 19 rerun election. The police public relations officer, Ahmad Muhammad, stated this while reacting to the recent killings in Omoko and other parts of the state. Emmanuel Lene has the report.
The media have in recent past been awash with stories of dastardly killings, which have been blamed on the activities of political parties ahead of the March 19th rerun election in the state. The recent being the murder of Award 4 APC chairman in Onega, Franklin Obi, and other members of his family. The killing and others in different parts of the state are creating apprehension among residents ahead of the rerun election in the state.
Condemn what is happening in Rivers State about the killings going all around.
It's not folding its hand in as much as security matters is concerned. The priority of the government is to secure lives and property.
Reacting to the incident, Police Public Relations Officer DSP Ahmad Muhammad said necessary action has been taken to beef up security in Omok.
The Omok, the Rivers State Police Command, we are aware of it. That was why yesterday in the morning, the Commissioner of Police himself and his other officers visited the scene of the incident. Purposely, one is for him to commiserate with the bereaved family, to assess the security situation in the Omok community.
DSP Muhammad also warned journalists in the state against blowing the crisis situation in the state out of proportion. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
Let's also take sports with Kenne Imabudiki.
Super Eagles camp is now bubbling following the arrival of all invited home-based players in Abuja. 17 out of 19 were at Tuesday morning's training conducted by interim coach Samson Siasia. The Bayelsa-born tactician is optimistic that both the home-based and their foreign counterparts will blend before they face Pharaohs of Egypt on March 25.
We just want to make sure that we don't have to depend too much on the foreign-based player because of the weather, and to make sure we have enough from here to join them. That will, help to run and try to play a good game on that day.
Nigeria wrestling team are back in the country after winning 10 medals consisting of 4 gold, 3 silver and 3 bronze at the just concluded Senior African Wrestling Championship in Alexandria, Egypt. The Federation's president, Daniel Igali, assured that the mistakes noticed during the competition will be corrected before Olympic qualifiers. Former women's world #1 tennis player Maria Sharapova's revelation of failed drug test at the Australian Open has continued to generate reactions as giant sportswear company Nike has withdrawn its partnership with the player. The 28-year-old Russian, who is the highest-earning female athlete, tested positive for meldonium, a substance she has been taking since 2006 for health issues.
I had been legally taking the medicine for the past 10 years. But on January 1st, the rules had changed and meldonium became a prohibited substance, which I had not known.
The International Tennis Federation said a 5-time Grand Slam champion will be provisionally suspended from the 12th of this month. With Sports Update, Kenai Imabodike, NTA News.
And that's it on NTA Nationwide. We thank you for joining us. Do join us for more reports that will be coming up in a subsequent bulletin. Good afternoon.